For the inside of the wallet, we're going to be cutting some duct tape strips. Now, what we're doing depends on what you want inside of your wallet. I'm going to be doing 2 billfolds and a coin pouch alongside of one of the billfolds, a lot like what my personal wallet is right now. So there's one billfold, another billfold with a whole bunch of receipts in it, and a coin pouch. If you decide that you don't want a coin pouch, then you're going to be following a little bit of a different path, but it's going to be pretty much the same procedure, but just ignore the coin pouch part. The strips of duct tape you have to cut, if you're doing a coin pouch, we're going to do 12 total, 12 strips that are each 7.5 inches long, and you're going to have 4 of each color. So for me, it's going to be 4 white, 4 dark blue, and 4 light blue. If you're not doing the coin pouch, then you're just going to need 8 strips, and that's going to be 4 of your pocket color and 4 of your wallet color. Still 7.5 inches long. Now we're going to be using the duct tape strips we just cut to make 3 panels, and I wrote down what each panel is going to consist of, and if you want you can pause the video and copy that down. So this is the first panel. I already did it to show you an example. It's the wallet color plus the pocket color. And pretty much you just lay 2 strips of duct tape down to the height that you want. This is 3.5 inches, and it's a little over 7.5. I always do a little extra so I can trim them at really straight edges. And then, so I did the pocket color first. I did 2 strips for the pocket color up to 3.5 inches like that. Then I turned this upside down and placed this color, the wallet color, on top with the edge overhanging to 1/4 of an inch over, so I can fold it down and get this really straight brim. Then I just turn this back over and place the other strip down to cover the sticky up. The next panel is the wallet color and the coin pouch color. So this one's actually going to be a little different. We're not going to do a brim because we're going to be brimming it later with part of the wallet making process. So it's a little easier. You're going to just take 2 of your coin pouch colors, so mine's white, and then laying that down along one of the lines on your cutting mat. Like that, straight as possible, and take another strip, go up 3.5 inches away from that, and lay that down as straight as possible. Okay, press down, make sure the middle is pressed down so they stick together, and lift that up. Now we're just going to take the wallet color and stick this on top, just matching up the edge of the sticky side down with your wallet color. Do the same thing with the other side. So now you have this panel done. The third panel is this coin pouch color and the pocket color. I'm going to lay this out again, the coin pouch color. Again, go up to 3.5 inches away and press down. Flip it over, and I'm going to show you that brimming technique. So find a line, doesn't really matter which one, and line it up on that line as straight as you can. Once you get that lined up, you're going to take your pocket color and line it on the line right under it, or however far away you want your brim length to be. I usually do about 1/4 of an inch. Turn it over and just line the last piece up with the sticky side of the bottom. Then you can see that that's got an overhang, and you just press down and push, and then we have a really straight brim. After all 3 of your panels are done, you're going to take your X-Acto knife and trim each edge so They all measure exactly 7.5 inches and they all have nice straight trims. When you're done trimming, you will have your 3 panels and your woven outside. And I'll show you kind of how it's laid out so you can get a general idea of what it's going to look like at the end. So you'll have there, this on top of this, directly on top, so you won't really see that. There, and then it'll fold like that. But for now, we're going to set this aside. Now we're going to make the pockets for this wallet. There are 2 different kinds of pockets. There's the vertical ones like this and the horizontal ones like this. So to make the vertical pockets, we're going to be using clear tape. I think you can see it if you have the glare on there. Okay, so for each pocket, you're going to need 3 3 1/4 inch strips. So if you're making 5 pockets like I am, you'll need 15 strips that are each 3 1/4 inches in length. If you're making more, you'll just add 3 strips to that per pocket. I don't recommend going over 6 though, otherwise you might run out of room. I already made the pockets that I'm going to be using for this wallet because the process is tedious, and I just sat down with my brother a while ago and just made a whole bunch. I will explain the process to you though. So after you have your 3 strips of clear tape, you're going to take 2 of them and place them directly on top of each other. So that's kind of what you see here, this section right here. Then you're going to take the 3rd one and place it over the edge of the part that you just made. Then flip it over and line it up with a line on your cutting mat. Then fold this down so that this part right here is 2.5 inches in length. It might take a little practice to get it down, but the clear tape is a little more forgivable than duct tape, so if you mess up and fold it too far or too long, then you can peel it back up and stick it back down. But try and get it 2.5 inches. That works out really well when you have cards. It just happens to be a good width for the cards to slide in. When you're done making your clear tape pockets, take your pocket color and cut out 3 2 3/4 inch strips like this, and cut them in half, like down the middle like that. Doesn't matter if it's straight or not. Then you're going to take your card pocket and just put on the pocket color so that most of it's on the card pocket. It doesn't have to be straight, and then just fold that over. Most of this part is actually not going to be seen. So once you do that, do it to all of the card pockets. If you have 5 pockets like me, you're going to have 1 left over, and if you did 6, then you'll use them all. Once you're done putting the pocket color on all of your clear tape pockets, you can go ahead and trim the excess and then set them aside. Next, we're going to make the horizontal pockets. These are exactly like the ones in typical bifold wallets, so if you're used to making those, go ahead and make 6 or 8 of them. You can really make however many you want, but it looks best with an even number. I use duct tape on the front and back it with clear tape. I know some people like to do it with duct tape on both sides, but you can really do it however you want, and for me it's just personal preference. You're going to cut a 4-inch strip of duct tape, so here's mine, of your pocket color, and then a 4-inch strip of clear tape, or if you're backing it with duct tape, a 4-inch strip of duct tape. Then line them up and stick them together, sticky side to sticky side. If you do get air bubbles, you can find the air bubble on the back of the clear side and poke it with your X-Acto knife, then press down. Now do this for all of your pockets. Once you're done with your horizontal pockets, you're going to want to cut them all down to the same size. I cut them to a little less than 3 3/4 inch. It's like almost 1/8 of an inch less, but not quite. And I'll show you how big that is compared to a card. So you can trim about the same amount, or a little more, a little less, but don't go too far under this. Now we're going to cut the strips for the trim. Now I do my trim a little differently than I see most people on YouTube do it, but you can do the trim however you feel most comfortable doing. I'll just show you the way I do it. So I have a strip of my trim color, 6 inches here, and 8 inches here, and then I cut them both in half, and then I cut this 6-inch strip into into thirds lengthwise, and this one into quarters lengthwise. So if I take one off, it'll be approximately this big, and one of these will be approximately this big. Now, if you're going to do this method, you have to make these cuts very straight because you want a really straight trim. Next, we're going to trim our pockets, and we want to get a really straight and even trim on all of them. So what I do is I line up one of the edges of the pocket with a line on my cutting mat, and then I tape the pocket down with some scrap tape. Then I take my tape that I'm trimming with, and I'm going to line up the tape with this line and this line up here. Once you get it down, you can lift up the pocket, take off the scrap tape, and fold the pocket down. And you should get this really nice straight trim. Now do this to all of your pockets, vertical and horizontal. Once you're done putting the trim on all of your pockets, you can cut off the excess trim and do it for all of your pockets. Now we're going to attach our horizontal pockets to one of our panels. This is the one with the wallet color and the pocket color. Also from the top, I marked approximately 3/8 of an inch down from the top along the length of the panel, just so I can more easily line up my pockets and have them straight. Then you're going to cut 4 strips of duct tape that are each 3 3/4 inch long, and then cut them down the middle like this. Then you're going to take one of the strips and attach it to the bottom of your pocket. I'll do another one. Just take one of the strips and attach it to the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything, just attach roughly. And take a pair of scissors and trim off any excess that shows over. Then you're going to attach these pockets, lining it up with the marks that you made, and matching it up to the side of the panel as well. If it's not as straight as you'd like it, you can always peel it back up and restack it. Now you're going to attach your next pocket just like that, with a nice space between that so you can see the pocket color. Make sure you have room for your other 2 pockets with that amount of space between all of them. And then also do the same on the other side. When you're done, it should look something like this, and you can cut off the excess on the bottom. Next, you're going to cut about a 3 3/4 inch strip of your wallet color, and then cut about 1 inch into the strip like this. So you have about a 3 3/4 inch by 1 inch strip, and you're going to use this to seal the middle of this. This next step is completely optional. I want to have my wallet closed with a magnetic clasp, so I'm using this 3/8 of an inch by 1/16 of an inch circle neodymium magnet, and I'm lifting up this center part a little bit and placing it right about here, which is about halfway between the length of the wallet. And press it down really well to secure it in. Now this panel is done for now, so you can set that aside, and we can attach the vertical pockets to the panel with the wallet color and the coin pouch color. So we're going to do this the same way we attach the horizontal pockets. You're going to cut 3 strips of tape that are each 2.5 inches long, and then cut down the middle. Then attach the bottoms with tape and attach it approximately 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch down, and do this for all the pockets. When you're done, it should look something like this. I also took the extra piece of light blue that I had from doing the pocket colors of the 5 pockets here before and used it to secure down this part and give this part right here a straight finish. Next, we're going to be covering this part of the wallet. You're going to need 2 4-inch strips to cover this area, and you can make it whatever color you want. I'm going to be using my pocket color so that when I fold it over the bottom edge, I can secure my coin pouch to it and it'll match the other side of the billfold. So it should look something like this after. Next, we're going to cut a 7.5 to 8-inch strip of your wallet color and cut it down the middle lengthwise. Then we're going to take the ID and position it on the wallet where you want it, and then I used a piece of scrap tape to hold it down in place while I put one of these strips along this end to secure these pockets and to secure the bottom of the ID. Take your time to put it on as straight as possible. While you're doing this, you're going to want to try and put in the other magnet that goes with this panel. So place the magnet on the other panel so you know which end is attracted to that panel and flip it over. Then place it down on the other side. Make sure it's in the middle. Lightly push this tape down and then flip this over to make sure it's in the right spot. If it's in the right spot, then this should be able to line up without any of the tape crinkling. Now we can press this part down. And now you can go ahead and trim the excess tape.
Oops, I completely forgot a step. I forgot to put a trim on my ID, so when you're making this wallet, remember to put a trim on your ID before attaching it. You'll do it the same way you did the horizontal pockets, except cut your strip to just under a 1/2 inch in width for a 1/4 inch trim.
Now we're going to take the other strip, when you cut this strip to put in the middle of this piece, the other strip, this one, we're going to take that strip and put it in the middle of this panel as well. Then I took Velcro like this and stuck them pieces together and cut off about 3 inches. Then I cut it lengthwise and stuck both pieces to the back of this panel like that, and then peeled this one off, and now I'm going to peel this one off too. Then you're going to fold this in half and carefully press down to secure that sticky side to the duct tape. So now we have a coin pouch that's secured by Velcro. Now it's finally time to put this whole thing together. So your weaving is going to go the clear taped side facing up. Then the panels are going to go on the side with the magnets on the outermost side. And after we finish, they'll close like that, so the magnets will be able to attach. Now cut 2 8-inch strips of your wallet color and then cut them in half lengthwise. So now you'll have 4 strips of tape that are approximately 1 inch by 8 inch each. Then place part of the strip on one of the edges of the woven piece like this, and let the other half of it hang off. And flip it over and take one of your panels, and with the magnet part facing towards you, place that down and fold this part up. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side and flip that over and put the other panel on, also again with the magnet facing closest to you, and fold up the bottom half and secure into place again. Now we're going to do the same thing to each side with the last 2 strips of tape. After you add those last 2 side strips, you are almost done, and this is what it looks like. I've also got a lot of requests to do tutorials on how I cut the edges of my pockets. Now I know most people will cut them just straight like this. However, I find that when you do that, this little part right here will lift up and it will collect dust and dirt and stuff, and it'll kind of get dirty. So I do it at an angle to cut from here to here. So from the edge of the pocket to the top of the next pocket, if there is one, like that. Kind of makes like a triangle shape, and then this allows you, when you pull the tape back up, you can fold that triangle down into the pocket, and it holds the pocket down more. I'll do it with the next one too. So if you pull this triangle down, up, then just fold it down like so. And that just holds the pocket in place a lot better. And it gives the edges a unique shape. And now do them to all of your pocket edges. So here, here, don't forget this one to open the billfold, and this one. Then do all of these, and the tops of your ID. When you're done, everything should look like this, and you can test it out with one of your cards, and all of the pockets will fit really nicely, and none of the cards will show over the edges. So there's also then there's also the 2 billfolds and the card pouch.
So I hope you guys like this tutorial, and don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. Bye guys!